Alright guys, today I'm going to be going over my favorite Dragon Ball stop motions of all time. I won't be including any of my own stop motions because in this video I want to highlight other animators, not myself. Also, I will only include one stop motion from each animator so we don't have like 5 videos from one person, and there will be 12 stop motions in total. Now, this list is not necessarily the stop motions I think are the most technically advanced or the most creative or anything like that, just the ones that I personally enjoy the most. Some of them I enjoy because they're technically amazing, and others I like just because I remember watching them as a kid or some other reason. I'm gonna try to put them in order with my absolute favorite one last. Now I'd like to show you guys clips from all of these stop motions throughout this video, but if a video has copyright issues, I won't show it. So without further ado, let's begin. Starting with number 12, we have Broly vs Vegeta from the Tonsonar Toys Instagram page. Now I don't know if this is a fan page because it hasn't posted since 2023, and the other Tonsonar Toys page is much more active. This animation is like one of the best I've ever seen from a skill perspective, but the reason it's so low on the list is because there's no audio. All you hear is cha-la head cha-la. I think that detracts from the overall experience. If it had the sound of the original movie, or some kind of sound effects at least, it would be much higher on the list. As those of you who follow my posts know, I'd like to animate this movie myself someday, and I think this animation has set the bar pretty high, which gives me a very worthy challenge to aim to surpass with my own animation. Not because I'm obsessed with having the best animation in of itself, but because I love to see how close can someone get to making this look like the real show. Can I accomplish that? Can I make this look more accurate, more realistic, with more attention to detail? That kind of stuff. It's just a very fun challenge for me. Moving on to number 11, we have Goku vs Cooler by Robert Dewey. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. As far as I recall, this was his first time using green screen for stop motion, and I think for a beginner he did a great job. The animation was very intense, and I honestly enjoyed it a lot. At number 10, we have Goku's Kaioken x 20 Kamehameha against Frieza by Zero Star Animations. This, I believe, was another case of the animator's first time using green screen. I may be wrong about that, but I think that's the case. And I was very pleased by the results. The animation was very smooth, and I really liked the special effects and the anime lines backgrounds. Number 9 is Broly vs Vegeta, Trunks, and Goku by Figureflix. This animation is amazingly well made, with great attention to detail like expressions and everything. I'm usually not a huge fan of stop motion that looks like it's in your living room and stuff like that. I prefer stuff that looks like the figures are in the world from the show with green screen, but I can't deny how well made this is, and this isn't the only real world stop motion on this list. At number 8, we have Goku vs Broly by Kokeizo TV. If I'm mispronouncing that, At number 8, we have Goku vs. Broly by Kokezo TV. If I mispronounced that, I apologize. This one is very well made, and I really like the backgrounds especially. Now, I don't think this is meant to be a direct recreation of the fight from the movie, but some parts are very similar to the real movie. And just like the Broly vs. Vegeta we saw earlier, this gives me a pretty good standard to aim for if I eventually animate my own version of this fight. Number 7 is Gohan turning Super Saiyan 2 by Shoot My Figs. Let me give some background on this one. Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan, yes, I know he was 11, but he was called Teen Gohan in Budokai 3, so I still call him Teen Gohan, is my favorite Dragon Ball character of all time, alongside Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And him turning Super Saiyan 2 is, you guessed it, my favorite Dragon Ball moment of all time. The main reasons I haven't animated it yet are, 1. I don't really like any of the official Super Saiyan 2 Gohan figures perfectly. The SDCC 1.0 is the best looking in my opinion. Air Studio is supposed to be releasing a head sculpt set, which I think looks really good, and I even pre-ordered it with 5K Toys, but if Trump's tariffs strike Chinese imports, I might not ever get those. 2. There is no well-articulated Cell Jr. figure. The best thing I know of is an omnibus figure with very basic articulation, but part of me was holding off on getting that because there should be a strong chance Tamashii will make an updated Perfect Cell, and if they do, hopefully they make an articulated Cell Jr. 2, and I'd much rather get that than the one currently available, which is little more than a statue. Tamashii, if you make a Cell Jr., please give him proper articulation. Do not make him a statue. Do not give him the Chaozu treatment, please. So anyways, back to the Shoot My Figs video. Sometimes I randomly search YouTube trying to find great spot-on recreations because that's the kind of stop motion I enjoy the most. And I've searched Gohan turn Super Saiyan 2 several times in the past, but I only saw this video last year, even though it was uploaded in 2020. I really enjoyed it and was shocked I had not seen it before. Now, a piece of criticism someone said about it was the fact that the Cell Juniors are just the anime, they're not action figures. And I understand the critique, but as I said earlier, there really isn't a good Cell Junior figure. If I were to use one of those statue-like figures I mentioned earlier, I would have to either Photoshop it or modify it in some way to get it to work the way I need it to. Overall though, I think Shoot My Figs did a good job, and I really appreciate stop motions like this, which make a really strong effort to be accurate to the anime. I mean, that's pretty much the whole point of my channel, right? At number 6, we have Goku and Vegeta vs. Metal Cooler by Kenny Boys Toys. Quick side note, for most of my life, I thought he was actually called Meta Cooler, but apparently that was like a dubbing issue or dubbing error. In Japanese, it would really translate to Metal Cooler, so I now know the correct name. Anyways, I've been watching Kenny Boys Toys for years, and of all his stop motions, this one I enjoyed the most. I know how difficult it must have been to do green screen with that Metal Cooler because it's so shiny and reflective like a mirror basically. And he said he had to fill in a lot of missing parts, but it looks kind of like he's just shimmering in the light, so it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the animation. I think he did a pretty good job overall. I contemplated getting the Metal Cooler figure myself, mainly for the Budokai 3 intro. But I really hope that Dragon Stars makes one without a shiny finish, and much cheaper, because that would be a lot easier to use for green screen. I've heard rumors about a Dragon Stars Metal Cooler, but it's been almost a year now, and it still hasn't been released or shown or anything, so I don't know what's going on with that. If I were to use the SH Figuarts Metal Cooler, I'd probably use a black background and manually remove a lot of it. Of course, as far as, Dragon Star's making one, any future thoughts of future releases of figures in general, that's kind of up in the air, because if, the tariffs really do affect Chinese imported goods made in China, companies who make their stuff in China, all this stuff, I have no idea what the future of a lot of action figures is going to be, so that's really up in the air. As those of you who follow my posts know, or have followed for a decent amount of time now, you know that from basically, I think it was the end of November until pretty much right now, I'm in the closing period of it. I created a sort of pre-tariff action figure purchasing plan, and I only have let's say 5 or 6 more things that I may get for that. So I pretty much have everything I needed, and I'm waiting until January 20th to find out what exactly is going to happen regarding tariffs and Chinese imports and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, as far as this animation goes, I really enjoyed it. Number 5 is Vegeta vs. Broly by Dark on Off. To be honest, I used to call this guy Darkanoff, like if he was Russian or something, like Volkov, but then I realized I was stupid. It's Dark on Off. Anyways, as some of you know, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie is my favorite movie of all time. And basically that means that a lot of my favorite stop motions are from that movie. Spoiler, this isn't the last one. But overall, I really enjoyed this animation, especially the expressions and the fact that Frieza's tail actually moves. I'm guessing they used clay or Play-Doh or something, and I might try that if I get to animate this at some point. Now, this video got some criticism as well, but I must say, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Someone in the comments said that Paragus looks like a hobo in a Punisher outfit, and that legit had me crying because it's true. He really does look like a hobo in a Punisher outfit. Of course, as those of you who follow my post know, I made a custom Paragus, so thankfully I will not have a hobo Paragus situation. But yeah, even though I found that comment funny, this is still one of my favorite animations. It has really high attention to detail and gives me something to compare my own animation to if I eventually animate this myself. Now we get to the top 4, the stop motions which weren't on the thumbnail. If you didn't count, the thumbnail had 8 stop motions and this video has 12, so 12 minus 4 is 8. And that means, actually, well, 12 minus 8 is 4, which means there are 4 left, right? There we go. Now, number 4 is Vegeta vs. Recoome by Counter 656.
おいおい、どうしたんだいこりゃ。ベジータちゃんの戦闘力が3万近くまで上昇したぞ。
This animation is truly incredibly well made, and even though the figures look like they're in the real world or a living room, that kind of thing, it made its way very high on my list. Counter 656 has been around for a long time, obviously, and is very well known, so no one should be surprised to see him on my list. He showed a trailer for his Goku vs. Broly from the Super Broly movie, a stop motion of that like a year ago, so I don't know if he's still planning to make it or not, but if he does, that would probably replace Vegeta vs. Recoome. Why? Because Dragon Ball Super Broly is my favorite movie of all time. Now with numbers 3 and 2, we get into some serious nostalgia for me. These are animations I first saw when I was still a child, and honestly, they've probably had the strongest impact on me personally of any Dragon Ball stop motions, period. even more than number 1. At number 3 we have Vegeta vs. Broly by Will Bushman. Who? Exactly. This is literally the only video on his channel, and it was uploaded on October 25th, 2008. I was 11 years old. When I first saw this, I thought it was the greatest animation I'd ever seen in my life. And the crazy thing is, my memories of it made it way more complex than it really was. I spent a long time trying to hunt this video down. In my memories, I remembered it having a bunch of amazing special effects, incredible green screen, a true masterpiece of cinema. And then when I finally found it, I was like, whoa, this is a lot more simple than I remembered. But that goes to show how much of an impact it had on my young mind. To me, it was a masterpiece. It was a true classic. It was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. It left such a lasting impression on me that 16 years later, I made my own Vegeta vs. Broly stop motion as a tribute to it. So I don't know who Will Bushman is, or if that's even their real name, but this stop motion, as simple as it is by today's standards, truly did change my life and my perspective on what was possible with stop motion. And I'd add this, don't compare this to my stop motions or other really complex stop motions you'll see online today. Back in 2008, almost no one was making stuff this good. So this guy in my book is kind of a pioneer of Dragon Ball stop motion, and he did it with just one video.
They're mere grunts fighting an entire army! I am Prince Vegeta! I am the ruler of all Saiyans, even you, Broly! Then please try your best to make me kneel before you.
At number 2 we have another pioneer of Dragon Ball stop motion, Legend of Metal 777, otherwise known as eBay Figure Reviews 777 or simply eBay Figure Reviews. Honestly, as far as Dragon Ball and even WWE stop motion goes, this guy was my childhood. He has a lot more videos than Will Bushman does. I mean, basically everyone has more videos than Will Bushman does because he only has one, right? And his Goku vs. Vegeta at the World Tournament, his Goku vs. Piccolo, and Goku vs. Cell were all such a key part of my early stop motion journey. But as I said, I can only choose one stop motion from each animator, so for this list, I chose Goku vs. Cell.
D.
This one I think is his best work yet, because you can see how much he tried to make it a one-to-one accurate recreation of the real fight. And I think the way he went about this, the way he showed the anime side by side, basically directly influenced how I would make my own animations 16 years later. Because yes, this one is also from 2008, August 5th, 2008, so a few months before Will Bushman's video, although I don't remember which one I saw first. Anyways, this Goku vs. Cell is great, and I think it still holds up pretty well today. If I ever make my own Goku vs. Cell, I'm planning for it to be a tribute to this. Well done, sir. Now we finally reach number 1.
I think this battle is about to come to a rousing finale.
Did I mention that Dragon Ball Super Broly is my favorite movie of all time? But seriously, I first saw this animation at a very interesting time in my life. I had actually pretty much retired from Dragon Ball stop motion, and when I saw this, I literally could not believe my eyes. I was like, how can someone make this? What amount of skill is necessary? I was literally just shocked. The animation quality was just as good to me as watching the real movie. Back then, in late 2021, I didn't even know where I would begin trying to make something like this. And I think it lit a bit of a fire in my soul to want to try to make stuff like this because, as I said, to me, this is the whole point of stop motion recreations. This is the end goal, right? To do your best to basically make it look like you're watching the real show or the real movie or the real whatever it is, but in action figure form. And XWE Owner did a tremendous job on this, and some of his other animations are extremely well made as well, like his Project Z trailer and Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta in the Recoome area. Even months after I'd seen this video, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It kept leading me to a strong inspiration to make these kinds of videos myself, and if I ever do animate Broly vs. Gogeta, the bar has been set very high. So guys, that's my list. My favorite Dragon Ball stop motions of all time. Let me know your favorites in the comments and what you thought of my list. As always, thanks for watching, and if you want to keep up with my future animations and videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. I might do one of these videos for wrestling, but I'm not sure yet. Anyways, bye for now.